Opinion Congress failed attempt to marginalise Babasaheb Ambedkar. First things first. Endorsing Dhananjay Keir's monumental biography of Babasaheb Ambedkar, Veer Savarkar observed that Keir's style was fascinating and that the biography was so truthfully written. This life of Dr. Ambedkar, Savarkar wrote, should be read and studied by every youth who aspires to take part in the public life of our country, and it should be found on the shelf of every library worth the name. Keir's biography of Babasaheb retains an abiding value and presence. Despite numerous attempts to marginalise it, its essence, authenticity and centrality in any serious study of Babasaheb remains undiluted and cannot be ignored by the serious scholar and activist. Babasaheb's 50th birthday, which fell on April 14, 1942, was widely celebrated and commented upon. To the chagrin of many today, it will be useful to note that the Bombay Provincial Hindu Sabha, by a special resolution, felicitate Ambedkar on his Golden Jubilee. Keir records that the main function in the series of the Golden Jubilee celebrations was held at Chowpatty on April 19 with Dr. Marginalise of the Hindu Mahasabha presiding and Acharya Dhand as chairman of the Jubilee Committee. Processions from across the city converged into a mammoth gathering at Chowpatty. Dr. Jayakar told the vast audience how Dr. Ambedkar's independent line of thinking and action had brought a phenomenal change in the status of depressed classes and how it has infused confidence in them and awakened a caste. Hindu Savarkar's was the most moving tribute and assessment on the occasion of Dr. Ambedkar's 50th birthday. Ambedkar's personality, erudition, and capacity to lead and organize, wrote Savarkar, would have by themselves marked him out as an outstanding asset to our nation. But in addition to that, the inestimable services he has rendered to our motherland in trying to stamp out untouchability and the result he has achieved in instilling a manly spirit of self-confidence in the millions of the depressed classes, constitute an abiding, patriotic as well as humanitarian achievement. The very fact of the birth of such a towering personality among the so-called untouchable castes could not but liberate their souls from self-depression and animate them to challenge the supererogatory claim of the so-called touchables. Savarkar concluded his felicitation by conveying his great admiration for the man and his work and wished him a long, healthy, and eventful life. The Nehruvian Congress and the Congress led by his biological descendants have been allergic to both Babasaheb and to Savarkar. Over the decades, starting with the first general elections of 1952 and even earlier, it went all out to defeat, insult and to politically decimate Babasaheb. The Communist Party of India had completely sided with Nehru and the Congress in their effort to decimate Babasaheb politically. They wanted to silence his voice. Nehru's lifelong efforts to shackle Veer Savarkar is also too well known to require reiteration. Unlike the Congress and the Communists, leaders of the Hindu fold always nurtured a great admiration for and deference towards Babasaheb. They never doubted his integrity and his sense of purpose. Dr. Savita Ambedkar, Babasaheb's second wife, writes in her moving memoirs of Babasaheb, Babasaheb My Life with Dr. Ambedkar, first published in Marathi, Dr. Ambedkaranki Saheb Asad how Nehru, Mumbai Congress chief S.K. Patil and Dange of the Communist Party had arrived at an agreement. What we had heard then was that Nehru, S.K. Patil and Dange had decided that they would do all that was required, use whatever strategy suited the occasion, but they were determined not to let Dr. Ambedkar win. Patil and Dange had organized their forces with this goal in mind. S.K. Patil and Dange played all the tricks they had in their bag. What therefore happened was inevitable. The constitution-making Dr. Saheb was defeated. It was a terrible psychological blow for Saheb. During the first general election campaign, S.A. Dange of the CPI had howled out a notorious slogan against Dr. Ambedkar, spoil your votes but don't vote Dr. Ambedkar. Dr. Ambedkar had long exposed the ruse of communists and had spoken against their divisive and destructive politics. To him, communism was like a forest fire. It goes on burning and consuming anything and everything that comes in its way. He had deeply studied communism and had closely followed and critiqued the communist movements and politics in India. He had seen through a number of their machinations. It always bothered him to see that communists used the marginalese to serve their political ends. Seeing this, he had once written that communists exploit laborers for their political ends. Under Nehru's patronage, using the Congress' gargantuan political and organizational machinery, the communists thus saw an opportunity to get back at Babasaheb. The political thuggery initiated by the Congress and Communists were planned to the last detail. Dr. Ambedkar had to file an election petition citing the rejection and non-counting of as many as 74,333 ballot papers in his constituency. The 1952 defeat, rude Dr. Savita Ambedkar, had an extremely harmful impact on his already debilitated health. Melancholy, disappointment, depression and disability returned. He began despairing of life. Writing to her brother, Dr. Savita Ambedkar Saheb lamented, "We have been told that some 20 lakh rupees have been spent by our enemies to defeat Dr. Saheb. This is very likely true under these circumstances. Why this farce of election? Our PMJN never wanted anybody of the height and stature of Dr. Saheb. So, with the help of Patil, he has succeeded. Politics and parliament have been the very life of Dr. Saheb. Bombay's results are maneuvered by purchase and transport of ballot papers from one polling booth to another." Writing to R.D. Bundara, his political colleague and SCF leader who also lost, a broken Babasaheb wrote with great fortitude, "I am sorry for your defeat as you are for mine. But elections are gambles. Nobody can be sure of the result. All that one can do is to do his best. I think in your case, as in mine, the best was done. We must not lose courage and keep alive the spirit of our people. That alone will lead to success. Babasaheb Ambedkar wrote, that although he was himself quite broken, Babasaheb would admonish his colleagues that elections, after all, were a gamble, and therefore there should be no despondency, and as before we should work for our party with greater energy and enthusiasm. The Congress relished Babasaheb's electoral defeat. Its machinations and subversion had succeeded. Nehru and the Communists had triumphed for the time being. Addressing a mammoth public felicitation program organized by the SCF at the Nehru Park in Dadar, soon after the Herculean task of framing the constitution was over, Babasaheb Ambedkar made a very poignant and prescient observation. He was alerting a free India and her free citizens to their most important duty. Babasaheb has left us a record of that historic address. There is one thing now that we must keep firmly in mind, Babasaheb told the sea of humanity that had gathered to hear the architect of free India's constitution at Dadar that evening. We had been looking after the welfare of our community, that, of course, we must continue to do, but along with that we should also consider how we can preserve the independence that our country has got. In spite of having gained independence earlier, it has had to suffer servitude. Earlier, the Mussalmans and then the English had taken away our independence from us. Independence is as important to the lower classes as it is to the upper classes. We have become free from slavery to the English, but it will be a terrible tragedy if we were to get enslaved again to a foreign power. Therefore, we should consider it our most important duty to defend the independence of this country. Swipe left for next video. It was this Ambedkar that the Congress wished to defeat. It was this Ambedkar that they insulted and attempted to marginalize. For decades that attempt was relentlessly made, and yet Ambedkar has outlived and outshone the Congress and its desiccated and warped ideology. The author is Chairman, Dr. Syamaprasad Mukherjee Research Foundation, and a member of the National Executive Committee, BJP. The views expressed in the above piece are personal and solely those of the author. They do not necessarily reflect News 18's views. Latest blogs.